Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. Welcome to the tactical debrief, where we take a little bit of a deeper look at the games that we've just seen. So Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 3. Bitterly frustrated. Still a little bit worried, especially at home. Just a bit, it's hard to explain, a bit flat, a bit meh, a bit like confused, a little bit not quite sure what's going on, or and I'm just talking. I'm like every single one of you guys. I am a Villa fan who is emotionally connected with Villa, loves the club, wants us to succeed. So everything I say comes from the heart. When I'm commenting on games, I'm commenting on what I see. I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm just an actual Villa fan like you guys commenting on their thoughts. So, just annoyed, frustrated, not buying into this. The players didn't want to win, and the players don't want to win and go through in the FA Cup. The players don't get what the FA Cup means. Anyone who watched Unai's press conference, he was a man possessed the other day. He was so driven. He was so sort of wanting to get his point across. He was just so driven for the game. And I thought, he's up for it. And the players lacked the manager's oomph going into the game. And I think that's a real frustrating part from it. We saw against Newcastle how it just wasn't like what we've played all season. It was we were off it. They wanted it more than us. And against Chelsea, it was pretty similar. It was pretty similar in the sense of Chelsea looked like they wanted it more. They were together more. They had a reaction together. But the one thing that I will say about the last two games is teams are having a blueprint of playing against us now. And the word we've been found out, it's true. Honestly, it's true. Because there's a blueprint now to beat us at home. And teams are doing the same thing. Both Newcastle and Chelsea did exactly the same thing against us. And they've both beat us. And when they've both done the same thing against us, they've made us look very average, very poor. They've made the midfield look non-existent. They've made it look like the width of Villa Park is 2 pitches wide, and we are playing in the narrow width of 1. And we're just really open. You stood there, and you can't believe what you're watching. You can't believe how 1 touch, 2 touch, bang, and there's a player on the right-hand side who's got acres of space to run into, and he's 1v1 with our fullback. You flip it to the right-hand side. You flip it to the centre of the pitch. 1 pass, 2 tap pass, bang, and they're away. And that's no coincidence that's happening time and time again now. And if we keep doing the same method against teams that are doing that against us, that's going to keep happening. You can't keep repeating the same thing. There's that saying, isn't it? Like, you keep repeating and it's like the sign of madness or something. And that's literally what we've done. 2 games. And 2 games we've lost 3-1 at home. So we've got to fix it up slightly. We've got to adjust. Because, like I said on the fan cam, if we play like that against Manchester United, we are going to get absolutely battered. With their pace out wide, with this blueprint of what teams are doing against us at Villa Park, we're going to get absolutely run ragged because they've got the defensive nous of Maino and Casemiro. All they're going to do is just bypass our midfield, ping balls galore to Garnacho, Sancho, and Højlund, and we're going to be exposed at the back. So I'm not worried in the sense of we can't adjust, we can't get it right, but we've got to see some tweaks now with this system and the way we're playing at home, because if we keep doing the same thing's going to keep happening. And it's not all on the system, it's on the players as well. They've got to take some responsibility, because some of the passing yesterday was atrocious. I mean, for that first goal, I'm going to show you in a minute, like, there's got to be a bit of like defensive nous on the pitch to realise what you're actually doing and how exposed you're leaving the whole team. So we'll get straight into it. We'll have a look at one of the big points that I think is why we're struggling at the minute, and why we're being exposed. So we'll go and have a little look at the tactical pad first up then, and then we'll have a look at some of the still images from the game of what went wrong and yeah, just why we're having a little bit of a mare then. So here we go. Aston Villa in our current system is, at this moment in time at home, very, very narrow. It was narrow against Newcastle, and it was narrow against Chelsea. And one of the reasons why I feel like we're struggling massively at home is, and I'm sure I highlighted this against Newcastle, is here and here. Now, why I've highlighted those areas is because if you look at how our general front six are playing, Tielemans is pressing with Ollie Watkins, which allows Bailey to go out wide. Now, when Diaby plays in this role, and we'll have an extra midfielder in there. The problem we've got is Tielemans is covering a lot of ground. So Tielemans is covering central midfield, forward line, anywhere around this area is where Tielemans is pressing. And Leon Bailey's generally staying out wide. The role of John McGinn last night is to work in this area and this area. Now, if John McGinn has took up a central position for Aston Villa and he's been pressed in midfield and we've lost the ball on transition, John McGinn has got to move all the way over here to offer Aston Villa any width and to offer Moreno any cover. So because we're playing so narrow and we're being exposed by playing so narrow, and when Chelsea's defenders are I'll put a United player because I've already done this for the preview. So we're going to go with like a Dalot, right? So Dallow's received the ball over here, and John McGinn is in his central area. John McGinn's got to go all the way over here to engage with Dalot. Too far. There's too much ground having to be made up. And time again against Chelsea, this player was just, he had the license of all of this to just do exactly what he wanted to do, because our midfield is too exposed. We're having to travel too far. Any team at the minute that's playing with width against Aston Villa gets so much joy, so much acre of space to exploit and play against Aston Villa. It's too narrow. We're far too narrow in midfield. And the problem what we're having as well is that when we do win the ball in central midfield and we're having to attack, you're asking Moreno, which he's done all season and which has served us well, he has to make up so much ground to get into an attacking area. And we've just got no cohesion or movement. It's all just very, very static and very narrow and very lack of width. And if Bailey's picking up the ball, he's just got so much work to do the runs are what we look like is that we're having to make up ground to get into attacking areas, which is a bit of a problem. It's not like if Bailey's got the ball out wide, Tielemans can just make a little run and he opens up a bit of space and he's gone. It's like these players have got to make up loads and loads of ground to get there before Bailey can decide what he's going to do to pass to a Villa player. That's just how it looks to me. So really frustrated. That wide area is absolutely killing us at the minute. So let's have a little look then at some of the slides, some of the stuff that happened against Chelsea. And anyone who watched the predicted lineup will have heard me say that without Konsa, Cash needs to stay in that right back role and just stay there and just sit in there and just defend. Because what's happening is he goes forward and we're exposed. And the first goal highlights it absolutely perfectly of where we've gone wrong here. So you can see that Kamara is in his screening role, screening the defence, but Cash has gone forward. So Cash has attacked, Cash has gone forward, Cash has made that progressive run. You've got Kamara, who first half was just, I think he thought he was passing to a Chelsea player, has passed the ball to a Chelsea player. Now, because Chelsea are now in possession of the ball, where's our right back? Look at our back. Look at our defence. So, at this moment in time, our defence is Longley and is that Moreno or Carlos? Must be Carlos. That must be Carlos. That must be Longley. Where's the defence? How have we allowed this pass to go to a Chelsea player, knowing that on that right-hand side at that moment in time, we've been overloaded 3-2. It's really bad. It's really bad decision making. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I don't understand why. I mean, Cash has gone forward. Kamara's tried to play him a ball, and that there is just suicide. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just asking for trouble. You're just asking for trouble there. And then there we go. He's on that left hand side, clean through, and this is where that first goal comes from. The Villa midfield is again separated from the back three, and we're just really, really exposed. And then another one where the ball goes in, and yeah, scrambling around. This highlights my point of what I was making at the start on the tactical pad of how John McGinn's role. So we go back and have a look what I was saying. So John McGinn here now has got so much ground to make up to get over to that left-hand side, right? So let's have a look at the photo. Here we've got John McGinn, who is in a narrow position and stuck in no man's land. So we're in no man's land now because if he goes there, it gets popped off over there, which is what happens. So one pass has bypassed the whole of our midfield. So the whole of our midfield is here now. One pass out wide to this Chelsea player, and Moreno has got a big decision to make. Does he go or does he leave this man and that man will run behind? So because the system's exposed, you can look at all the players. Bailey, he's like head down. He's thinking, oh, God. Kamara, head down. Oh, God, running back. Luis, head down. Oh, I'm running back. You know, it's exposed. And have a look at that graphic there of him in that middle area there of that decision, what he's got to make. And out wide, we've been absolutely killed. And then here we go. So now look at this. Moreno, he can't engage. He can't engage the player that's got the ball because is going to be left exposed again. So, really frustrating. Again, Villa's midfield, Villa's defence. There's nothing in there. And you give these players time, that high line's going to be exposed because it's just balls over the top. It's balls through there. And this was the goal. And it's frustrating, like that midfield. Like, why is it so flat? Where's the depth to it? So you can't believe what you're watching, can you, at times? Again, Douglas Luiz has been done on the byline. Where is the Villa midfield? Nowhere to be seen. And then, look, we're exposed again. And a point I want to make, a big point I want to make, is that in the Premier League, if you give players with quality any amount of time to pick a pass, you're in so much trouble. In this scenario here, if that midfield has been bypassed and this player on the ball can just run at a defence and dictate what he wants to do, I can't understand. I can't understand how we've gone from this team that's so organised and so resolute and so tactically aware of every aspect of play to having moments where teams have got the whole of Villa Park to run into and so much space and so much time. I just don't. I can't put my head on it. I can't put my finger on it. And like I say, all of this here now is something that Manchester United are going to be licking their lips at. Look at this scenario here. Get Rashford here, 1v1. With Højlund running in the box. With Garnacho on the right. Fundamentally, the team is having a mare. Tactically, it's having a mare. It's all over the place. It's absolutely all over the place. Honestly, it's all over the place at the minute. And it's just really frustrating. I had to take a screen grab on SofaScore at half time of the average, the players that were playing and how loose we were. These are the average ratings of the first half. We've got Kamara, this is first half, 80% passing accuracy in the first half, which is, loose. Matty Cash had 100%. John McGinn, 70%. One of his 6 ground duels won. Tielemans, 73%. Leon Bailey, 63%. Douglas Luiz, 75%. Those numbers are so loose. And then we've got average positions from Chelsea. Their system was way better than us, pressed us so well. And then Villa's system, gappy and exposed, I think is the term that I'd use. So, unfortunately, it's not a positive one for me. It's a negative one, but you can only say what you see. Yeah, that especially doing a lot of this of fan cams, match reactions, debriefs. If I want to make an episode of context, then at the end of the season we'll do a season review and we'll have a look at at how the season panned out and how we were doing halfway through the season. But the season's not over, and it's not over to reflect, or it's not over to think of how well we've done, because we're still in a season. We're still playing. We're in the here and now, and we're reacting to games, and we're reacting to what we're seeing, and I think we've just got to change what we do at home. There was a time in the game when we were losing, and Martinez threw it out to Moreno quickly, and we lost possession and we turned it over. And Unai was trying to slow it down and calm it down a bit. And I just think, we're by far from the finished article. We all know this, and I will say that we are by far from the finished article. And I think maybe at home, we've just got to realise which teams we can try and control the game and which teams we can sit off a little bit and hit them on the break a bit. And I think that's maybe something that we've got to realise, that Chelsea are a decent team. Can we play this slow possession-based football against a team that want to just quick-fire transition us, same as Newcastle, quick-fire transition us, same as United? They're going to want to do the same thing. So if we're so slow with our build-up and our possession and trying to control the game, we're getting caught, we're getting exposed. So do we need to sometimes just be a little bit more counter-attacking, explosive at home? So I think it's adjusting and figuring out what we're going to do. The other thing that I will say as well, and this is trying not to be really, really negative, is that we look like we've lost that. When we go into games and we play against like Brighton and we do a job on them. So Brighton would come to Villa and we would expose Brighton. We'd exposed Newcastle last season. We exposed Man City. We exposed, some teams this season. Doesn't look like we're doing that anymore. Doesn't look like for every game that there's like that individual game plan from what I'm seeing. It looks like we're going out and we're doing the same thing that we're doing, and the opposition are coming and doing a job on us. So I don't know. That's my honest thoughts. Like, I've just been honest, as I always am. I will say what I see. And yeah, I mean, if you've got any positives to add, then fire them away. But yeah, cheers everyone for watching. Comment your thoughts down below. We'll have the United preview. We've got a special guest coming on, and we've got a really good opposition preview for Manchester United as well. So cheers everyone. Unfortunately, it's not very positive. Unfortunately, I'm not positive when things are going bad, which is, I think, good for you guys, because you get to see, just some level-headed, hopefully, honest Villa fan talking, which I'm just the same as all of you guys. I don't try to be anything other than an honest Villa fan who tries to enjoy the journey with you guys and enjoy being a fan, just like what all you guys enjoy. So, yeah, cheers everyone. Up the Villa.